Good morning, Predictive Trades fans. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Going to run through a quick prep. So looking at ES, we just had our PPI data drop. Let's come in here and look at the economic calendar. So today we have PPI that drops at 8:30. Tomorrow we have CPI that drops at 8:30. Overall I'm expecting negative reactions at first, but then it's all about, do we actually break down? We've moved up and we're kind of flagging in a bull flag. Of course, you get that initial reaction that gives you a quick drop, but then we're right back up in the average prices that have been going on for the last couple of days. Hopefully, everyone can hear me, see me, all that stuff. Just want to make sure. But overall, we are back trending up after a nice little sell-off back to some key levels. Of course, this is NQ instead of ES, but we are back up in a bull flag and back above our daily moving averages. So just as far as targets to the downside, if this reaction is just a precursor to more selling, we have the daily 8 down at 52.13, daily 50, 51.88, daily 21, 51.78. So we do have some liquidity levels below if we do see some selling today following the reaction, although very quick bounce right back up in the same range. So we'll have to see how this squeeze fires, if it fires to the downside or holds up and takes off for more upside. Let's move on to NQ. Same story on NQ. We've had some Great bounces off of near a daily squeeze bottom and came right back up. And we're kind of flagging up here. Overall, kind of the same story. Do we continue to hold up about above 18,250, or do we start to fire to the downside, come down to 18,150 at the bottom of the 4-hour squeeze where the daily 8 sits, 18,111 where the daily 50 sits, or even down to 18,000 where the 21 sits around 1825. But if we can hold up and start to push for more, when we get through that 18,348 and up to this key level, first it's 18,485, then it's 18,500, 506, and then 18,559. If we can see a breakout to the upside. Yes, we got a negative reaction. Doesn't always mean that we're going to retrace those lows or head lower. We could easily hold up and push and fire these squeezes to the upside. So something to keep an eye out on there. Let's load up YM. YM has been on an absolute tear lately, tore through its daily squeeze top and now flagging above. One thing we want to be cognizant of with these daily squeezes, they can start to fire and then fully reverse. So we want to keep an eye on YM, which has kind of been leading the upcharge lately, to see if it can hold above 39,500. That's kind of your line in the sand. If we break 39,500, we could head lower back down to this daily 8 near 39,300, or the daily 21, daily 50, which are pretty much down near 39,000. But if we can hold up and keep pushing, you want to target 39,738, 781 in an effort to try to get up to this 40,000, 40,100. Moving on to Ready. Ready's been holding up well above the daily 50 near 2050. And even though we had that reaction down, if you look, Ready is pushing new highs pre-market. So when it comes to these data drops, a lot of times it's can we absorb it and keep moving, or is it going to cause a full reversal? Keep an eye out for yesterday's high near 2090. Couple days, well, Friday's high near 2096 pre-market. And if we can get through that and fire to the upside, keep an eye out for a run up to that 2118, the next daily Keltner. If we do reverse back down, watch for holds near 2055, 2065, sorry, where the daily 8 is, 2057 where the daily 50 is, then 2047 and a half where the daily 21 is. Also watch these recent lows. Could easily hold this 2050 if we do see more selling today and head up, but pushing strong pre-market on small caps. That's a good sign that the reaction to the data was just that, and we can keep pumping. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple had that strong reaction off earnings and has held up well at key levels, holding at 181, pushing up to 187 pre-market. Let's see if we can continue to hold around 186 or yesterday's low around 184 and a half. If we start to break that, then it's back to these key levels. The daily 8, And is that the daily 200? I think. Right at around that 181. So we can see a hold of that 181 if we do see some selling, and then right back up. If we can hold up and keep pushing, then it's up through 188.5 to try to get to 190. Moving on to AMD. Definitely had some negative reactions on earnings, and then a pop up and flag. Let's see if we can continue to hold above 148, 149, 150 to push back up through 155, 156 where the daily 21 is to try to get back up to this daily squeeze top near 163. If we start to lose 148, we want to target down to 144 and 142 in the bottom of this daily squeeze. Moving on to Amazon. Overall, let's see if we can hold above basically that 183.75 where the daily 21 sits to reverse back up to 186, 188, 190 and try to get through these recent highs near 192 and the top of this daily squeeze. If we do give out that daily 21 at 184-ish, look for a drop to 180 where the daily 50 sits. Moving on, let's see what we got. Google up next. Yeah, I was talking about this yesterday. Google had that massive gap down, got near the daily 21. And I mentioned in chat yesterday it's a good candidate for upside play just because of that gap down when the rest of the market was not gapping down so much. And we see we got that strong reaction right back up. Let's see if Google can hold above. Sorry about that, folks. Had to mute for a second. On Google, let's see if we can hold above that daily 8 near 168. If we start to lose that, look for a retracement back to the bottom of this daily. I'm sorry, bottom of the 4-hour squeeze near 166. If we start to lose that, then it's back to yesterday's lows. But if we can hold up that 168, looking to push through 170 up to about 171.5 at the top of the 4-hour squeeze. This recent high of 170, 176 to get up to 172.5, where that next Keltner sits. Moving on. Let's see what we have next. Microsoft. We also saw the gap down yesterday and a little bit of a bounce out of Microsoft. But overall, coming back down to test yesterday's lows. Let's see if we can hold above 410 where the daily 21, daily 8 sits. If we start to lose that down to 406, where the daily 15 sits, 401, 400, and we've got squeeze bottoms down here. But if we can hold up that 410, looking for a push back up through 415, basically up to this 420, where the top of that daily squeeze sits. Moving on to NVIDIA. Had this big push up from 812, 816 up to 922. And we've just been flagging above the daily 8. See if we can continue to hold above 890, where that daily 8 sits in these squeeze bottoms. If we can hold there, looking to push up through 910, 20, 22, and 930 up to 943, where the next Keltner sits. If we do get a breakout from this flag, if we start to lose that 890, you want to target down to 880 where the daily 8 sits, 875 where the daily 21 sits. If we lose 870, then we're talking back down to this 841 where that Keltner on the downside sits. Moving on, let's see what do we got next. I guess we'll move on to Tesla. Tesla's been getting beaten up lately. Made it down to this 167.5 where it held and caught a little bounce. Let's see if we continue to hold above 170, 171 where the daily 50 sits. If we can hold and push through this recent high from yesterday, near 175, looking to get up near 180 and back up to the top of this daily squeeze. But if we start to lose that 171, you want to target back down to this zone at 167.5, 166. Let's see, did I miss anybody? We'll take a quick look at SPY and QQQ and we'll wrap this up. So SPY, great recovery off of 500, back up to 522. 73 high yesterday. Let's see if we can hold above 520, push through yesterday's high, and try to fire the squeeze to the upside to get up to that 527.5, 528 at the top of the daily squeeze. If we start to lose 520, 518, and fire the squeeze to the downside, you want to target 516.5 where the daily 8 sits, and down to 512.5 where the daily 21, daily 50 are kind of overlapped. QQQ. Nice bounce around that 420.5. Now up near 444. Ultimately, let's see if we can hold above 440 today. Push through that 444.31 high from Friday. And an attempt to get up near 446 the next daily Keltner. If we start to lose that 440, down to 438.5, daily 8. 436.75, daily 50, 435 where the daily 21 sits. And that should wrap it up for prep today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you guys all in the chat. I'll be on voice a little bit here and there throughout the day. And we'll see if they just kind of chop us in this range a little bit so they can be ready to absorb that CPI reaction tomorrow. Kind of expecting another flash sell and then see if it can hold kind of thing for CPI tomorrow. And overall, just looking at the daily structure, On NQ, we held those key levels. We got back up to flag in this daily Ichimoku. Let's see if we can break out of this to the upside and clear that 485. It's a big key level. Recent rejections there that caused this sell-off. So if we get above that 485, 500, then it's a good sign for sailing further up. But if we reject this daily Ichimoku top and retrace back down and lose the bottom near 18,000, then it could spell another dip to these key levels that we bounced at near 165 and 450, 17, 165, 17, 452. So just some key targets to keep an eye out for. Even still holding above this 18,000 is bullish. It's just a retest of the highs in the middle of the bounce. But that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope you have a great day.